Howdy. What's happening? Well, I've just had Maxine washed and I'm going to look at a second-hand Honda Jazz for sale that I found on Facebook Marketplace, and I'll tell you why on the way there. And I'll also talk about my obsession back in Australia, and it's got something to do with a movie called The Castle. If you guys have seen it, my Aussies and Kiwi mates would have seen The Castle, I'm sure of it, and a certain publication that came out every week called The Trading Post. So I'll talk about that obsession and another one that I've got here in Thailand. But anyway, I'm potentially going to sell Maxine. I love this car. Pick up Ute, and I'll be referring to a few different things regarding Australian slang. But Maxine's got a wireless Apple CarPlay, awesome air conditioning. Yeah, it's not the original steering wheel, but it's only done 157,000 Ks and drives perfect. But I don't need a ute or a pickup truck. And I'll get into that on the way out there. So come along for the ride. So, one of my obsessions, I have OCD. So everything's got to be clean. My car. When I was a kid, I used to get teased because I was always saying, they were always saying, you wash your hands too much. So, I've got antibacterial alcohol gel in the car, mints for fresh breath. My condo's clean and my apartment's clean. The bloke's always clean. Everything's clean. So yeah, I have OCD. And the other obsession is, which I'll talk about more in detail, is wheeling and dealing. Over 200 cars I've bought and sold in Australia, and I'm going to try it here. Righto. So I'm in the car with my my trusty wingman Nick, and we're on our way out to have a look at a private sale Honda Jazz. And that's for me, potentially. And my obsession, as per kind of the title and then the intro, started at a very young age of wheeling and dealing. I was swapping BMX bikes for motorbike boots and all sorts of stuff from a very young age, under 10 I think. I'd have to ask my parents. But then I started life as a mechanic, apprentice mechanic at a Holden dealer, and I bought my first car before I was old enough to hold my learner's permit, and detailed it and did a few things to it and sold it and made a little profit, and then bought another car, which was a Holden Tirana LJ GTR for those Holden enthusiasts that are listening or watching in. And I've just been doing it all my life, and it's just a hobby and an obsession. And if you watch the movie The Castle, Australian movie with Michael Caton and a few of the other Australian actors and actresses, every week, oh, my phone's ringing, every week the Trading Post would come out, which was a newspaper, and I don't know who's trying to call me, Lazada maybe. Anyway, so I just kept doing it all my life and loved it. And every smoko, as an apprentice, and smoko is morning tea for those that don't know. Jeez, Louise. This video is going to be great. Should turn my phone off.
It's your mum.
No, it won't be my mum. Anyway, so I love Maxine, but I thought I might have a bit of a crack. I don't need a ute. That's what we call them in Australia. Short for utility. So it's a pickup, and I bought it, number one, because I wanted it to look like a Thai, number two, because it's a great car, and it took me 3 months to find this car. I looked at all sorts of different cars and ended up buying this off an expat that exports pickups to the UK, and this was his personal car. So anyway, back to my obsession. I'm going to have a crack at potentially wheeling and dealing in Thailand to give me something to do and bring you guys content about finding cars, second-hand cars, and the whole process. And you know, this car that I'm going to look at, this Honda Jazz, it's a 2009 model, and one of my very earlier videos on cars, you've probably heard me talk about CVT transmissions, continuously variable transmission. And I hate them with a passion. And in the early days, the early Honda Jazzes from the early 2000s up until 2007 had a CVT, and then the model I'm going to look at came out in 2008 and ran through until the end of 2013 at a traditional 5-speed torque converter auto. And they're a great car. In fact, my ex in Australia had one. I bought one for her, and it was, yeah, perfect. So that's what I'm going to look at, and looks good on the Facebook ad. We'll see what it's like. I'll try and show you guys what I look for when I'm looking at a car to buy for myself or for friends. And yeah, trying to work out what cars are worth here. Well, I've been here 15 months now, and I'm always on Facebook Marketplace and another website called Bart Sold, looking at used cars. I've got a bit of an idea. But for those that are a bit nervous about buying a used car, there's a website, you've probably heard of it, Redbook. And in Australia, a lot of car dealers use Redbook to determine what a car might be worth as a trade if they didn't really know. And lo and behold, Redbook's available in Thailand, and I punched in all the data for the Jazz that we're going to look at, and it asked for a credit card, and my Bangkok Bank MasterCard won't allow online purchases through that kind of a website. It's linked to my Lazada account and Grab and Line Man for food and all that kind of thing, and I'll show you how all that works in another video. And yeah, so for 100 baht, it'll tell you, it'll give you a guide of what it's worth wholesale and retail, and I don't have that, so I'll just use my own personal judgment and see how we go. But yeah, anyway, come along for the ride. Okay, so some of the things I look out for, you can see the headlights are all affected by the sun, so that's the laminate in the plastic that goes on them. Just kind of look around here, things like this. You can see the bonnet's been off because the paint's come off the hinges. Sorry, the bolts. But you never know why the bonnet's been off. You look at things like this. It's got ABS. And the other thing you look at is things like the bolts that hold the door hinges on. You can sometimes tell if it's had a spanner or a shifter on it, or a socket. I mean, it has got the original bolts. That's a bonus. And I've got to remember, this is a 2009 model, so it's not new. A lot of the cars in Pattaya that may have been under flood, you would lift up things like this and have a look for any corrosion or potential water damage under there. So, but it's got good tyres on it, Continentals. 185, 55, 16s. And I'm really fussy when it comes to paintwork, so you can see there's a little cover for the bolts missing here. It's bent. So in Australia this was called VTIS, this model, but in Thailand it's an SV, so it's the top of the range in this series of Jazz. And these are honestly a great car. But check that the windows work. Just have a look inside the wheel arches for any signs of corrosion. And again, you gotta remember this is 2009, this car. So it's not new. The auto window works. So in the ad on Facebook, it says it's done 120,000 Ks, but the speedo reading is 138,869. And then you just obviously check the function of everything in here. Fan, aircon. Interior light. Oops. Cool, they've got a little armrest that folds down. So you're not going to be able to see it, but I can tell this bonnet's been repainted, so not sure. Hard to tell. Okay, I didn't film that, but I just took the Jazz for a drive, and it drives exceptionally well, even though it looks a bit tired. But it's got a traditional 5-speed transmission, like I said. But you know, the bonnet's been painted, that's okay. Not too sure if it's been in a bit of a bingle. Might have been a long time ago if it was. But everything works and it drives well. So I will think about it and talk to the owner later. Well, there's Maxine. I'm not sure about that Honda Jazz, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I did ask the guy about the price, and as with everything, cars always look great in photos and online, but you get out there and not that flash. So I'll think about it. The car drives really well, but just not sure. Have to be cheap for me to buy it and have a play around with it and fix it up and everything else. So stay tuned. Okay, so I still haven't made a decision about the Honda Jazz, and I've come back to a car dealer on Sukhumvit Road that was in a video a couple of months ago. I'll just show you so you know. And that video did really well, nearly 40,000 views, and it's this one here, PP Autosports. And I showed that Mercedes-Benz. That Camry wasn't here. I showed that 3 Series. I'm not sure if I showed that black 3 Series, but this Mazda 3's new, the Honda Civic's new. Anyway, so I asked Alex, the owner, who's a Brisbane bloke, how much he charges to sell a car for us Farangs on consignment. That's 10,000 baht, which isn't bad. And he advertises it on his website, and if it doesn't sell, he doesn't charge. So it's a pretty good deal. Let's get the sun on my face. I'll come back here and do a 2024 edition of car prices and run through it. So he's got a Prius there. It's an exciting car. Just quickly, awesome car, Mazda 3. And this one is 339,000 baht. And 152,000 Ks. Nice car, Mazda 3 sedan. There's a Mazda 3 hatch. Beautiful. Anyway, that's it. Jason and his obsession with cars and cleanliness. Talk to you soon. G'day. Finally, it's finished. Hopefully you can see that. That's my welcome to Thailand, Good Vibes Pattaya, moving to Pattaya guide that contains 13 pages of everything you guys can think of and coming to Thailand and getting yourself set up. Links to everything. All the links are active and hyperlinks, so you can just click on them and it'll take you straight to the website or to their Facebook page. But there's everything in here. You name it, everything's in here. 13 pages. So if you want to get your hands on a copy, just shoot me an email, goodvibespattaya@gmail.com, and you'll get an auto reply with information about how to get a copy of it. It's awesome. Thanks, guys.